Hello, and thank you for watching this video. If you're watching it, it means you have an interest in working with MECLABS Institute in some way. You may have found us on a job site, or you may have gone directly to our website, you may have met us at a job fair, or you may have simply been referred by a friend. Either way, whatever you know about MECLABS so far, we want to take a few minutes to tell you a little more about our organization so you can understand what it would be like to work here and choose if you'd like to apply. So at MECLABS Institute, part of the interview process and the HR hiring process, it's very important to us to help break down that wall and barrier to get to learn more about you to see if you'd be a good fit here. But then also, we want to make sure you can learn about us. Either way, let's take a few minutes together to talk about MECLABS Institute and where you might fit in the picture. My name is Daniel Burstein. I'm the Director of Editorial Content here at MECLABS Institute. And what I'm going to do on this video now, I do every day with marketers and business leaders to help teach them about our research and how it can help them improve their job performance, help them improve their understanding of the customer. So while this video is about MECLABS Institute and it's about helping you understand if you want to work here, partly also our goal is just to teach you. Our goal is to teach you about a little bit of the research we've conducted into human choice. Why people say yes to one offer and no to another, why if you were to ask someone out on a date if they'd say yes or no, if you were going to ask someone if they'd like to buy a car from you if they'd say yes or no. Hopefully you'll get a little understanding of the different factors that go into that decision, but also we're going to use MECLABS Institute as an example. So you'll get to see what it's like to work here, the value we provide to you, and some of the things you have to think about. So with that, let's go into some of the examples. One of the first decisions you have to make after you decide what company is a good fit for you, you have to decide what role is a good fit for you. And that's something that through the HR process, we want to help you understand. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about this idea in a minute, but what we're trying to understand when we're interviewing you and talking to you is what is your motivation? And how can we best tap into that motivation with the positions that we have to offer? So even if you apply for a specific position, we're constantly asking questions and trying to get to know you better to see if you might be a fit for another position here, to see if that might fit you better. Of course, we're working with you on this. We're not assigning you to some position without you knowing. We're asking, talking to you, having you understand the value of one position over another so you can understand which would be a good fit. And even once you get here, this doesn't stop, right? Everyone who works here is constantly looking around, seeing what their peers do and seeing where they'd be the best fit, where they can best contribute, but where they can also best learn and grow. A little about our organization as a whole. It was founded by Dr. Flint McLaughlin, and it was founded on the premise of learning about what really works in marketing, learning about what really works in human behavior. And one of the first very early papers that Dr. McLaughlin wrote is called Transparent Marketing, where he set about a new thesis on how marketing should be done. And much as the name might suggest, that should be transparently. We should remove a lot of the hype that happens in our marketing and focus on delivering value to our audiences and really clearly showing our audiences and our potential customers who we're a fit for and who we're not. So again, that's the same thing we're trying to do today with this video, give you a sense of MECLABS so you can decide for yourself if that's a good fit for you or not. And you can read that entire paper if you choose at marketingexperiments.com/transparent. MECLABS is a research institution, and we've been conducting research for more than 15 years through digital channels and also through the phone and other ways. We've tested more than 1 billion emails, more than 20,000 sales paths. You can see some of our research if you go to meclabs.com, and you can also see some of it in our publishing subsidiaries. They are kind of like you saw on the previous slide, marketingexperiments.com and marketingsherpa.com. To give you a sense of how the entire company works, what we're constantly trying to do is researching what works, finding out what those in the industry are doing, what they want to know. And then once we find out what they want to know, what they're doing, we can find some best practices. Right? So we tend not to report on news. We tend not to report on saying, hey, this thing might work, or this company signed with this agency, or this new technology is out. We tend to analyze, and our writing and our content is more about analysis. Okay, this thing happened now. Well, what really works? What are people in the industry doing? What are some of the best practices? Once we've identified those best practices, we put them more into a bigger methodology to help other marketers, other business leaders learn from what really works. And you're going to see one of those methodologies in this video today. As I talked about, it's a methodology we've created around understanding human choice, around understanding why people make certain decisions and they don't make others. So once we have that methodology, then we teach. As I said, As I'm teaching here today, I'm always teaching to marketers and business leaders, teaching them what we've learned, teaching them our methodologies, teaching them our research. And then as we teach, we find out that we want to learn more things, that our audiences, that are the marketers we work with, the business leaders we work with, there's more things they need to know. And so we start that cycle all over again and are researching. Our ultimate goal is to optimize the financial performance of all the companies out there through their sales and marketing funnel. But not to just do it in any way, to do it with a very customer-first approach. So as I mentioned how we formulate methodologies, let me show you one of these methodologies. This here is a patented heuristic to understand the probability of conversion of a customer. So let me tell you what that means. First of all, this is a heuristic. If you're not familiar with a heuristic, it's a thought tool. It's something put together to help you focus on key areas when you're in your job or when you're making a decision, right? It's not a formula where you're actually trying to solve specifically for these different values. Why that's important is because in the marketing industry, marketing has not tended to have methodologies like this. Marketing has tended to rely on the individual star performer. You know, an agency has a great writer who really gets it, a very effective copywriter, and some of the other writers don't get it as much, and that writer leaves and takes a lot of knowledge with him. Or in a marketing department, there are certain managers that seem to have it more together, and they're very effective, and others that don't as much, right? Yet, if you look at other industries such as manufacturing, they have Six Sigma, they have total quality management, they have specific methodologies on how they manufacture, on how they deliver the goods they produce to make sure there's consistent quality. Marketing has not had this. Many business processes have not had this. And so that's why we've created this heuristic and received a patent for it, and it's been used by hundreds, if not thousands, of marketers across the years to help them consistently identify ways they can improve the funnel, they can improve the conversion process. And what the funnel and conversion process means is the decisions and steps customers take before they choose to actually buy a product. Conversion is any action you're hoping that customer will take. So for example, if you have an email newsletter, you want people to subscribe to it, that's a conversion, getting someone to subscribe to it. But finally, if you're selling a product through that email newsletter, that's another conversion, getting them to actually buy the final product. So the point of this heuristic is understanding what are the different elements you can change, you can look at, you can tweak to improve the probability that someone will convert, that someone will take the action you want. Now, while this has originally been applied to marketing, this really affects all human decisions. So as we're talking through this, I want you to think of a decision that you want someone in your life to convert on, essentially, to agree to what you want them to do. That may be convincing someone that is interviewing you that they should hire you, right? So if that's your conversion goal, then what steps can you take to help increase the probability that you will be successful? Let's dive in and take a look. So you see, the first number on there is 4M. The 4, the numbers on the heuristic, show the importance of each element in it. So 4 is the most important element, motivation. What motivation means is we all have motivations within ourselves to be interested in certain things, certain products. So if you look at some of the products in the slide, they tend to be high motivation products. So if you look at myself, for example, someone might assume I have high motivation for Rogaine, right? If you're bald, then you have high motivation to find a cure to that baldness. So that's a higher level understanding of motivation. Let's tell you about motivation in terms of working here at MECLABS. And that's what we'll do for each of these steps in the heuristic. We'll tell you what they mean at a high level, and then to help teach you about MECLABS, we'll tell you what they mean in terms of your decision to convert and to actually apply to work here at MECLABS. So the motivation here at MECLABS is, you may have lots of different motivations that's going on with you. You may have just finished your college career and are looking to work in marketing for the first time or in business for the first time. You may be a mid-level career professional and are looking to change jobs and look for maybe a more mission-oriented organization to work with. Or you may simply be looking for what else is out there. Whatever those motivations are, through our HR process, through our hiring process, we're trying to discover what motivates you and how we can tap into that motivation if you were to work here. And that's one of the things we do when we're looking at and trying to figure out what position would be a right fit for you. So same way with marketers, when they're marketing a product, you can't control someone else's motivation. You can't control a potential customer's motivation. You can only try to discover that motivation and then tap into it with the products you have. So the next element we're going to talk about is the clarity of the value proposition. So when I talk about value proposition, I love showing this slide, right? So take a look for a moment, look at those two computers and tell me what is the computer on the right and what is on the computer on the left. Which company, which brand makes a computer on the right, and which company, which brand makes a computer on the left. Think about that for a moment. So now when I ask this in classes or different places I've spoken about MECLABS and shown this slide, people usually pretty quickly get that silver computer. I'm sure you got it, right? It's an Apple computer. Now, when it comes to the black computer, I get many different guesses. Hewlett-Packard, Lenovo, it's actually a Toshiba. And the difference there is Apple has provided a clear value proposition with its products. You can instantly see an Apple computer and you know it's a high design product. It's different than anything else. There's a clear value proposition there. People understand the value they'll get from it. Now, when you look at many of the different PC-compatible computers right next to each other, the difference between a Dell, and in this case it's a Toshiba or Hewlett-Packard, there's not a clear value proposition for these different computers. They've become essentially commodities. So as businesses, is our goal, we must create a strong value proposition within our products. And that's how we become a successful company. We create value with our products, and then we deliver that value to customers. And when customers can clearly see that value, they'll want to purchase the product. When it comes to the value proposition of working at MECLABS, again, it ties into the individual motivation. For some people, they're interested in a research-driven environment. They want to know the details and they want to learn them. They want to work in a team-oriented environment. They want to work with others. They want to collaborate. They want to build their personal brand. They want to write for some of our content that tens of thousands of marketers read. They're looking for a good work-life balance. They're not sure of their career path. They want to come in here, learn a lot, and be able to choose their career path. Or they want to influence the marketing industry. There's many different values we offer. So, for example, I love the quote on the slide where one of the value propositions to one of our writers was the ability to wear shorts, flip-flops, and t-shirts and a hat to the office every day. Another element of that value proposition is how we work to focus on understanding you and how you'll fit into the entire team, understanding how we can have strong chemistry among our teams, and also to help you develop your capacity. Right? So if you're looking to mature personally and professionally, if you're looking to work in a team setting where you can learn from others and help others, that's also a strong element of our value proposition as an employer. I want to show you some examples too. Our value proposition out to different businesses and companies is our ability to do what you see on the screen, to teach them the differences between an effective communication of that value proposition and an ineffective value proposition. So you'll see the not this but this. In the but this, we help them communicate the value of their offering, in this case services, better, and they were able to increase results. In this case, for a subscription process for a newspaper, again, we're able to increase the value of the perceived offering of that newspaper. And this is also, while I'm talking about the value proposition to the companies we worked with, this is a value to some people who are wanting to work here. They're learning this methodology. They're learning how we're able to do this, how we're able to take an offer and increase the value to increase conversion and increase performance. Now let's talk about the incentive. This is something you may be more familiar with and the first thing you might think about when it comes to marketing. So the incentive is that little extra you give customers. So you want to tap into their motivation, you want them to understand the value of their product, but sometimes it takes a little extra to motivate them. So it could be something like a coupon, it could be something like free shipping. And this is where some companies, they really have a problem because they don't create that value that we talked about that's so important. They don't tap into the motivation, and so they rely on incentive. So I like to call incentive the bacon of marketing tactics, right? So if you're not a good cook like me, you can pretty much put bacon in anything and it will make it taste better. You can put bacon in a salad and it'll make it taste better. So in the short term, you can put an incentive on something, a coupon for example, and you can make it perform better. You can sell more of it. But in the long term, that's going to hurt you. Much like here at MECLABS, we do offer incentives. Our main goal is to tie into your motivation, understand what drives you, and see if we're a fit for you, and then provide value in working here. But there's also incentives, because other things are important as well. Competitive compensation, medical and dental insurance, a health savings account with employee matches, and of course paid time off. I mean, these are the incentives we offer employees who work here as well. And if you have specific questions about any of these, you can ask our HR department and they can give you some more details. So what we've talked about so far are the positive elements you can tap in to get someone to want to take a conversion action, to get someone to want to go out with you, to get someone to want to purchase your product. But there are also elements that you could have in that conversion process, in that process of getting someone to want to act, that can take away from it. These are the negative impacts, and that's why you see the minus signs in that conversion index. So let's take a look at the first one, friction. So friction is psychological resistance to something in that sales process, something in that conversion process. So for example, a really long form, that would cause some friction. So if you are looking to buy a product, and this happens a lot, you want to buy the product and then they make you log into an account before you can buy that product online, that's friction in the process. You just want to go and easily buy the product, they're putting up a wall, they're making it harder to buy that product. So we've done the same in our process of deciding who we want to hire. There is a lot of friction in the process. You will go through several interviews. There will be a preliminary phone interview with our HR team. There will be a team interview. We'll ask you to take a behavioral assessment test. There will probably be a skills test. There'll be a senior manager interview. There'll be a final interview. There are many steps in this process. And we appreciate everyone who goes through these steps because we know it's not an easy process. But the reason we do it, the ultimate outcome, is by putting that friction in the process, the people that we end up hiring, we found, are higher quality people for our organization. They're a better fit for our team. And because of that, we have a very good work environment here. I gotta say, it's one of the best work environments I've ever had. So it's a difficult process. I'm gonna warn you before you apply. It will take time, but the end outcome is worth it. Now, also because we have this big process, we hire very few of the people that we're initially talking to. It's in the single digits, the percent of amount of people we hire. Because again, we're trying to find out and winnow that process, get to know you better to find out who will ultimately be successful in this environment. We only want to hire the people that will be successful here, that will be a good fit, that will also be serving them with a true value proposition. Another negative element you see a minus sign is anxiety. So anxiety can be thought of any psychological concern you have. So for example, in the case of buying something, if I'm asked to put in my driver's license or my social security number, right, or even a credit card number, I have some anxiety. Why do you want this information, right? Why do you want my phone number? You're going to call me and try to sell me something? That's anxiety. It can mean I am less likely to take that conversion. I am less likely to take the action you want me to. And similarly, we understand there's also anxiety in the process of deciding where you want to work, deciding where you want to apply. Is it going to be a good fit for you? Right? Will you like working here? Do you have chances to grow? What are the people like here? So as I said in the beginning, this is really a two-way process. When you looked at the friction, we're going to ask a lot from you. We want to know about you because we want to see if you're a good fit. We encourage you to ask anything you want to know about us as well to see if you'd be a good fit to help reduce that anxiety. And you can do that by emailing hr@meclabs.com because we're here to serve you as well. So ultimately, when we talk about our successes, normally to the organizations we work with, the success stories are the increases we've been able to make in their conversion, the increases we've been able to make for their business, the things we've been able to learn about their customers. Like you see on the screen, triple-digit increases in subscriptions. But when we're talking about working here at MECLABS, really our case studies, our stories, our wins are the people who work here, right? And so you can see on the screen some of the things that we do here. That we have yoga here, ping pong, that's our annual holiday party. We have a lot of fun here. We have a good time together, and we really try to grow people. Those are the successes that we have here. So if this interests you, we hope you'll take the next step and apply and learn more about MECLABS. You can go to meclabs.com/careers and fill the information out there. And thank you for watching this video. Again, if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at hr@meclabs.com. Thank you.